Welcome to Plus Talk on Plus Life, where we are all about turning positive into a plus. My guest today found out she was HIV positive when she was only 7 years old. Imagine that. She's now, well, a couple of years older, and she's become a fantastic advocate for the fight against HIV stigma. Kalee Garland, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Let's go right to the nuts and bolts. I mean, this is sort of not unusual because I think there's a lot of people who've been in your position, but I don't think we hear about it so much in the world of HIV. You're 7 years old and your parents tell you you've got AIDS. What does that mean to a 7-year-old? I mean, do you remember that moment crystal clear, or were you just a kid and that was something else you were told by your parents?
Oh, it was definitely a very clear moment in my life. My parents divorced when I was 3, so it was my mom and myself and her best friend Harry and I all together at my favorite deli, and my mom broke down crying, and she told me that we had this bug, and it was HIV. And as soon as she said HIV, I had the PSA that I saw on television with Magic Johnson and the characters from Blossom and extras running around a basketball gymnasium saying HIV facts. And I had no idea what they were saying at all. I had no idea what the PSA was. Just the very last moment clip of that PSA was HIV, it could happen to you. And everyone staring into the camera at the television. When my mom told me that, I was just like, it could happen to me. This is exactly what Magic and Blossom and Joey Lawrence told me. Like, okay, let's just refill my egg cream soda and please pass the spicy mustard. Like, I don't want you to be sad, Mom. It's okay. Benny King is playing on the radio. Like, do you hear that? Like, everything's going to be okay. Like, it was like my mom told me that my hair was blonde.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. And I guess that's what I was getting at. The question was, you kind of just told it and sure, you remember it, but did sort of the weight of what it meant mean anything to you? And it sounds like in the moment, Blossom was telling you it could happen to you. At what point in your life did the seriousness of it hit you? Do you remember that?
Yeah, it hit me when I was going back and forth to NIH. I was on the first cocktail therapy trials for HIV medications, and I was staying at this beautiful, amazing place called the Children's Inn, and it's kind of like a Ronald McDonald House-esque place for parents and their children that are in these studies at NIH to live. It's like a hotel. And to me, it was, like kind of like a vacation. There was amazing kids from all over the world. And we were all like, had this sickness, like there were kids that were HIV positive. There were kids that had various cancers. And it was like a big, hangout room. And I just wanted to play with everyone. I was a kid. I just wanted to play. But while I was playing, I got to hear and overhear stigmas of what my friends that just happened to be sick, how people were treating them. And that was just so like off-putting and like, I don't know, it was just sad for me to hear that people would treat people like that when they're sick and that people could be like that. I also saw the AIDS quilt when I was 8 years old, when I was on one of these trials in Bethesda, Maryland in National DC, like seeing how like devastating HIV was. But with me, I just felt like, that's all more purpose for me to like live for these people. I feel like these people are angels behind me with my back. But
yeah. Like, I read a comment somewhere where you said, okay, these are my people. I got this. We're going to fight this, which is phenomenal for someone at such a young age. What were the effects of AZT like for you? I mean, I've interviewed a lot of people on Plus Talk who are adults and, big, strong, macho men who said ACT brought them to their knees. A lot of people, as you know, went off it because it was just so horrific. So for a young girl, what was that like?
I don't know if it was AZT was that bad because the combination cocktail therapy was AZT, 3TC, and DDI, and I would definitely argue that DDI was the worst possible thing I could describe to any, like, I can't even put that the words of how awful it was. And the medication, the doses that I was taking were dosages for adults, because my mom had a friend that was in the study for adults in the same medication, and it was just very interesting that I was taking the same medications. But after I completed that study, I was transferred on the protease inhibitor study at NIH, and those were actually pills. And I had some control with my medications because they were pills, and I got kicked out of that study because I was just hiding my medications. I didn't want to take them. It was too much for me to deal with going to school and feeling ill.
So, Kalee, tell me what it was like being a teenager living with HIV. How did you deal with it? Did you tell people? Did your friends know? Or was it something you kept to yourself?
So I didn't really communicate my status to my peers. I had a few, like 2 friends that were my best friends that knew that I was positive, and they respected my secrecy. And I didn't date in high school because of the fact that I didn't want people to know my status, and the fact that I couldn't necessarily get away from this group of people in this structure, because it's just the system of high school and everyone talks. And I didn't want to necessarily put like the burden of necessarily dating someone, and then if we broke up, for them to keep the secret that I'm HIV positive. I just wanted to get out of high school and be an adult and create my life, because once I'm an adult, I can create my life.
So, Kalee, what was the moment where you decided to take your HIV and use it for good and to speak publicly to help others? How did you come to that decision?
That came when I had meningitis for the 4th time, and I had my head shaved, and I was down to 88 pounds, and it was definitely a long road to recovery, but I got to, sit and be basically stuck in a bed because I couldn't really move. Meningitis is definitely a hard thing, and then I had it 4 times consecutively.
Wow.
But I really got to, contemplate and think about what I wanted to do with my life. Doctors told me that I was going to die all 4 of those times, and to, think about giving away my things at age 18. And the biggest moment was having the meningitis and being so sick and having 1 T cell. My doctors came into my hospital room and were talking over me, and they told me that, I was going to go to hospice and I was going to die. And I just got so pissed off. I was just like, get the out of my room. Like, that's what I told them. I got just really irate, and I told them to go themselves and to leave, because that's not the energy that I wanted in my room, because I'm 18. I've been waiting for this moment my whole life, like to construct the people I wanted to be around, and for you to tell me that I'm going to die. Like, I'll let you know when I'm going to die, doctor. Like, that's how I felt. And that's, yeah, just, that was just my mission. And through that, I just started to speak on my HIV. That my head being shaved was just like my rebirthing moment. I call it my Joseph Campbell classic hero's journey, like rebirth.
I love it. So, in the last few moments I've got you, what's life like for you these days? How's life treating you?
Life's been pretty amazing. I've been on social media for 10 months now. I've never had a social media ever in all my 34 years. And I'm just putting together all of my speaking engagements and my people, just to really put myself out there and just speak. I'm wearing my status on my sleeve with my username and my handle as AIDS Baby 86, as like a play on words, to be like, this is me, and here I am, because I did have this cloak of, you can't tell that I'm sick until I had meningitis. And that is something that, I just want people to think about, like the fact that everyone has something, and to just be kind. And when I was recovering from meningitis for the 4th time and getting to this moment of health, people just look at me so crazy because I weighed 88 pounds and I had a shaved head, and it was just infuriating. I just wanted to hold up a mirror to people and be like, do you really know how and what you look like right now? Because it's offensive. And that's basically a mission that I have, is just to make the world kinder and more compassionate towards one another, and for people to see each other and themselves and other people.
Kalee Garland, thank you so much. Keep doing what you're doing. We're glad you're on social media. If you want more information about Kalee and what we've talked about today, be sure to check out our website, pluslifemedia.com. And remember to follow us at Plus Life Media. We'll also put Kalee's information up there too, so you can follow and help grow her numbers. That's going to do it for us. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.